Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dirt with D. This is episode, I don't know, I think it's like 12 or 13. I've kind of lost track. I guess I'll look back and figure out how many I've done. But anyway, I've got some exciting stuff happening. I don't know how many of you all watched the live thing I did at the Bottle House last weekend. Well, it didn't go that well. A lot of it was equipment. Well, I've invested in some new equipment. I actually it's a Zoom PodTrack P8. So there I can actually have 6 guests. Now I can do call-ins. So if somebody wants to call in and ask questions, we have the ability to do that. Ordered some new mics. So actually, I'm running a condenser mic now. And the bad thing is, you hear everything. So when Zeus starts snoring, you're probably going to hear it. So I apologize in advance. So this weekend at the Bottle House, Friday night, we got Evil Bill and the Struggle Bus, the band with a crazy name, but awesome freaking musicians. I tell you, if you haven't seen them, you gotta see them. They're just freaking awesome. They're amazing musicians. And then Saturday night, we have a guy that I consider a pretty good friend of mine. He's actually been on the podcast before. We have Dan and the Boys from Nobody's Fool. If you like classic rock, they're the band you want to see. They're awesome. Anyway, with that being said, this guy and we've been talking about doing this here for probably about a month. Obviously, just trying to work in the timing and everything. I consider him a good friend and a good guy. You all know him. We all love him. It's Mr. Todd Plesko. Let's add him to the stage here. There he is. What's going on, Mr. Todd?
What up, baby? How
Not
you doing,
much.
Dwayne?
I'm hanging in, working, just living life.
You know, I've known you for a long time, and I've always considered you a bit of a serious fella, even when we're at the bar. So
I've got
going
my
back a
moments.
month ago, when you and I started to negotiate my fee for being on your show,
It's a
my
zero,
big
a
fee,
point zero zero. Somebody said before, well, you're no Joe
unexpected a
Rogan,
beer or something, and then I
I will buy.
realized, hey man, you're taking it pretty seriously. You're
I
taking
will
this
buy you
whole
a beer.
thing pretty seriously. So,
I will
yeah,
buy you a beer. I can assure you of
respect,
that.
especially with Bubba going down and all that, and
Yeah,
what
it's
you've
a horrible
added,
thing.
and what you're trying to do. I know that shit takes a lot of time. So
It does.
respect, man.
I
Seriously.
appreciate that. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. And you've had some stuff going on in your life there, my friend. Let's talk about that.
Every year,
Multiple knee
man.
surgeries.
Don't we all?
Multiple
Don't
knee
we all?
surgeries. How you doing?
Yeah. My knees. My knees just started to hurt like 15 years ago, and then here's the quick progression of it. I won't bore everybody with it, but you go in and you find an orthopedic surgeon. This is back when we lived in Indiana. My wife is from Fort Wayne, Indiana, so we raised our kids there. And they're like, you have a torn meniscus, and we got to go in and we got to scope it. This is actually like 18 years ago, and they did this micro fracture, micro puncture thing that they don't do anymore. It's like outlawed now. And anyways, fast forward years, years forward, I had one scope on the left knee. It's when they go in and clean up the meniscus and all the cartilage. Then a scope on the right knee. Then another scope on the left knee. Then another scope on the right knee. And finally, I found a doctor down here, and he's like, "I won't scope it anymore. It's just you need new knees. You don't have much
Yeah.
cartilage left. You don't have any meniscus left. They should have never did this micro puncture thing to you back in the 90s or whatever, whenever it was." And so here we are. So I took 6 months off of music to actually it'll turn out to be 5 months to get both of my knees replaced. So I had the first one done January 30th, went well. Had the second one done April 3rd. So we're coming up 2 weeks tomorrow and doing well.
Any
So
difference in the recovery from one to another?
yeah, yeah. It's just different. I mean, the first
Yeah.
one, again, I don't mean to bore your audience with this. The first one, when I
No,
got home, the
people want
day
to
I got
know.
home, I got sick as fuck. I mean, I
Really?
had like the flu, and it
Oh,
was I don't recommend it.
no.
Having a major implant surgery and then getting the flu the day you get home. And it's in and out. I mean, you're in and out in 5 hours. They fast food this shit nowadays. But that sucked. And then the recovery was fine, after I got done having the flu or whatever, COVID or whatever it was. And this time it's been better in that less bruising, swelling, all that kind of stuff. I got the staples out on Friday. But I don't know what they did to my leg. My leg just hurts. It hurts more. My doctor told me, he said, when people do 1, 2 like this, they always say the second one hurts more. So
Well, I
whatever.
think part of it, and I've had both of my knees done too. Not replacement, but I had a torn meniscus and I had a Baker cyst. In my
Yep.
right knee, I had a big Baker cyst they had to remove, and then I tore my meniscus in my left knee.
Yep.
And yeah, now this was, God, what was the last one I had? I was still in Arizona when I had the last one done, so let's say 14 years ago. Obviously things have progressed a little bit. I was home. They had that big thing on my knee hooked up to a freaking cooler with ice running through it constantly.
Yep.
And yeah, it sucked. I mean, I was back walking probably in about 4 or 5 days. I could get
Yep.
around before that, but yeah, it hurt.
It
And of
just
course, I'm not
hurts.
I'm not a medication guy, so I
Yeah.
kind of tried to avoid taking that. There was times though. The first day was fine. Of course, I was still out of coming out of anesthesia. It wasn't that bad. The next day, oh god,
The
it just
first the first surgery, I mean, the pain really wasn't that bad. I was more focused on I was just super sick. And
yeah,
the second surgery, yeah, I needed those pain meds. And nowadays, I mean, for those of you who don't know, they don't give you jack shit. They
yeah. I
just
know,
don't get.
man.
It's
They're
not
afraid of
like the old
addiction.
days where they would just load you up with refills. They don't give you much. They give you like 5 days worth.
Yeah, well, I
And
know.
so I haven't had any pain medication for about a week. So it is what it is, man. I'm getting older, but I feel good. And the
You're
best
looking
part
good.
about it is it's going to allow me to, perform the way that I want to perform on
Right.
stage. I like to get rowdy. I like to get busy. I like to get out in the audience. I like to be in front of people and, really feel the groove. So, I've been told a lot of times I'm a much better performer than I am a player. And that's probably true. And then when your body starts saying, you can't move the way you want to move, it kind of sucks. And that's the way it's been for the last couple of years. And I would still, nothing a couple shots can't overcome. And then the next day, I'm like, fuck, I can't even fucking walk.
Yeah, they
So,
don't last very.
hey,
I
by the
tried
way,
that.
can I cuss on this show? I cuss a lot. I hope that's
Hell
all
no.
right.
Hell no.
It's not like
What
FCC
the
regulated or something. It's not going to
shit?
affect
What are
my
you talking about?
pay.
No fucking cuss words on this shit. It won't, trust me, it won't affect your pay any at all.
Yeah, right. Everybody who's been on the show before, they're like, the fucker's getting paid.
Yeah, right. I'm not getting paid. Hell, I don't make any money. How can I pay anybody? This costs me money.
I know. I know.
Trust me,
It's
the stuff that I just got in, yeah, another 700-800 bucks down the drain. But it was an investment that I had to make because
yeah,
if I do this, I want to do it right.
yeah.
And like I
Submit the
said,
receipt.
just so anybody knows, anybody watching, if you want to call in and ask a question, just let me know. I can actually take a phone call and you'll be right on air with us. You won't be, your face won't be on there, but your voice will be on there with us. So if anybody
Ask a
wants to,
stupid question, you're going to get a
absolutely.
stupid fucking answer.
Oh, I guarantee you. One thing I can guarantee is you're going to get a stupid answer.
I'm happy to give it. I'm happy to give it.
There are only stupid answers on here. Like I said, this is all unscripted. We don't have a script that we're going by. It's a couple guys sitting there shooting the shit. So, but
Sounds
you're looking
good.
good. I mean,
Sounds
I saw
good.
you after your last surgery. You were in the bottle house one night. And you were getting around pretty good.
Yeah, I came in to see the guys. I don't think it was their first show. Matt
Yeah,
Lupo
yeah.
was filling in for me with
Yep.
Sinner
Hmm.
and, crushing it. And I got to tell you, man, it sucked because it wasn't too far after that first surgery and the bottle house was packed. I mean,
Yeah.
packed.
Well,
And I
center has that
played, I
effect.
played shows where it was packed, but it was packed. And, I don't know what I don't know what Rick did to the sound or whatever. I'm always I'm on the stage. So of course I walk around. I've got my
Right.
wireless guitar. I walk around. So throughout the night, I mean, I probably walk around out stage a lot, like 5, 6, 7 times. So I get a sense of what the front of house sound sounds like. But that night, I'm in the audience and I'm right
Hmm.
up front and I'm like, motherfucker, man, these guys sound so good. I
Well,
mean, Matt is such a good player. The
he
band
is.
was hitting it. The crowd was into it. Rick had the sound dialed in, and I'm like, we got a couple songs into the second set. Now I'll be on. I'm a pretty candid guy. I'll be honest. I'm like, Brenda, I got to get the fuck out of here, man. This is fucking. This is ripping my heart out. These guys sound so damn good.
Nah, basically, it was just to honor you. It was to honor Todd.
Oh yeah,
That's what that
right.
show was for.
Yeah, right.
It was all to
Seriously, some
honor
nights you're
Todd.
just on. Some nights the mix sounds good and the crowd is good and the band is grooving and that's just it. And they were having one of those nights and it was great.
Well, and a lot of that with the mix does have to do a lot with the guys on stage. I mean, obviously,
Oh yeah.
you're running direct. You're running through your fractal, and you run pretty much direct. You know how it is when guys have amps up there. Some of them like to turn up just a little bit louder, and it's really hard to mix them because you almost have to drop them out of the mix because the stage volume is so loud.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm an old school guy. I like having that amp up there. I like air moving, but I tell you what, I don't know. I'm starting to convert. That running direct stuff. It's
Well,
Makes a difference.
I've got news for you. So I've taken this downtime. I'm just, as I was planning this thing out, because I was talking with the band, I'm like, gotta get the knees done, all this
Mhm.
stuff. So we didn't really book much in January and February because I was going to get one knee done, and then it just so happened to be I'm like I got to get both of them done. So I need 5 months off. I just need more time off. And what I decided to do was just plan it out to where here are the skills I want to work on.
Yeah,
Here's what I
yes.
want to
Yeah, yeah.
focus on. Here's what I want to do with my tone. So what I did, I'm actually going to be a bit of a hybrid now. So what I've got now, I still have my same fractal rig, but I'm running it to a power amp
Yep.
to a cabinet. So it's the best of both worlds. You're
Mhm.
moving air, you still have stage volume. I don't have to throttle it way up like a normal amp. I can still bleed some through my monitor mix, whatever. But I get the flexibility in the way I can carve my tone with the fractals. So I'm like super stoked. I told the guys, I'm like, not boasting or anything. I'm looking at my rig right now, all turned off. I'm like,
Are you still going to run
it's
direct to front of
sounding,
house?
in my opinion, it's sounding really good. So I'll
Yeah,
be
you
miking a cab,
will make
going
it go.
forward, just like
Yeah.
if you were playing an amp, like an old tube amp.
Yep.
But it's a solid
Just
state amp, 1U, Fractal FM9, and a 2x12 Hughes and Kettner cab. Pretty
well,
excited about it.
well, guys have to understand you don't need a ton of stage volume.
Nah, nah.
It's just guys come in with 50 waters and they want to crank them up, and it's just a lot of times we just have to back them out of the mix because it's just too loud.
Yeah. And
You know,
that's not helping anybody.
yeah, a 20 ampere at the bottle house is fine. You're getting mic'd up.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
this is the what is it? The Matrix GFX 1000. So it's only a
Yeah,
thousand amps. So we'll just put it on 8 and it'll be
yeah,
just
yeah,
fine.
exactly. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. As I'm sitting 5 feet away from the stage, going,
It's gonna be good, man. I'm always good to Rick and anybody who runs sound. I run
well,
sound. I used to run sound quite a bit. I don't do it too much anymore, but I feel the pain. I know the
I think
pain.
most guys, and I tell them when I'm in there, hey, listen to him. Rick does know his stuff. If he
Oh, yeah,
tells you to kick down a
sure.
little bit, listen because it's his job to make you sound good. Just keep that in mind. It's his
Cool
job.
guy too.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
got
you
his
know what
good
the thing
points.
about Rick
He's got
is?
his
He's
good points.
technical too.
Very
He
technical.
really speaks not just the decibels, but
It's just,
polarity and some of the techie shit that I like.
mhm.
Yeah. Rick's technical in
Yeah, I'm kind of
addition to being
technical.
good.
Sometimes he texts me out. It's like, Rick,
Yeah, he's techie. Yeah, he gets it.
I
He
got,
gets it.
oh, you're killing me, Rick.
I've learned quite a few things from him.
Yeah.
So
Hey, I just want to give a heads up to everybody. Obviously, this is running on multiple different formats. It's running on my Facebook page, the Bottle House Facebook page, and also YouTube. I only see the comments that come through the Bottle House page. Now, I will see them through my page because I actually have another computer with my page up so I can see it there. So just keep in mind if you want something to pop up, just go to the Bottle House page. I don't have YouTube up. Of course, not that many people. Speaking of which, anybody out there, go to our YouTube page. It's a Dirt with D at YouTube. All that is just the interviews. You don't have to dig through all the other stuff to get to the interviews. It's just there. That's all I have on there. So subscribe, the Dirt with D on YouTube. It's easy to find. It's kind of not my face, but my made up face that I use for everything's on there. So you can
you
find it.
I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but when we negotiated this whole thing, you said one platform, so 3 platforms triples the zero
Well,
fee.
you actually have the ability to run this live
I'll
on your
stop
page
with
too.
that joke now. I promise I'll stop.
Like I said, you can run this live on your page too.
You
I
owe
mean,
me
I've
a
never been on
beer.
that
I'll tell
side,
you
so I
what.
don't
I'll
know
buy
how.
you a beer. You buy me a beer, and we'll
That's
call
right.
it even.
That's right.
Yeah, I love
I'll
it.
buy you.
I
I'll
love
buy
it.
you 2 beers. How's that?
I'll drink
We
them.
do have slits in the back. We have slits in the cans.
You know the best kind of beer? It's free beer.
Cold.
Yeah, cold and free.
Well, unfortunately, I haven't. Well, not unfortunately, I haven't drank in over a year.
You
I haven't
what?
drank. I haven't drank in about a year and a half.
Yeah, I know. I'm just fucking with you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
hey, don't get me wrong.
I
People
haven't
say,
drank since like fucking 8 minutes before the show. But
well,
that's
you
just
gotta have
me.
a primer. Well, everybody comes up to me, so you quit drinking. I say, I didn't really quit drinking. I just, I'm always busy, so don't drink. If I do, I might go out and have, a mixed drink every now and then, but usually I cut it at one because, well, let's face it, I'm always driving too. And obviously, I can't afford to lose my license because then I can't work. So I just decided, and I'm getting older and then waking up the next day feeling like shit
Yep.
sucks. Yeah, I just got to the point. And obviously, I'm at the bottle house a little bit later than I used to be now.
Yep.
Yeah, usually I'm there till pretty much closing time. So last thing I want to do is wake up the next day early in the morning with a head with a
Dude,
hangover.
hangovers suck. I haven't had a hangover in a couple of years. Doing this cover band, gigging thing for, now as long as I have, if you're a reasonable person, you learn not to judge at all. I mean, I'd like to think that I've seen it all. I've seen the hard drugs. I was in this band for a long time in Indiana. Hopefully they're watching. It was a husband and wife. He was the drummer. She was the singer. She was this tiny little petite thing. Sang really great. It was a fun band. And this is kind of when I was getting back into playing after taking a bunch of time off, to raise my family and focus on my career and all that stuff. But I swear to God, man, they would smoke a quarter ounce of pot before every set. And she would get up there and kill it. And I'm a lightweight when it comes to pot. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like,
me too.
I'm like, you give me two tokes and I can't play a note.
I'm
I
going
just
nighty
can't do
night.
it.
One
And
toke, I'm gonna go to sleep.
there's, I don't know if it's true or not, but there are some people that believe, you know what, if I have a couple tokes or if I have a shot or whatever your pleasure is, I don't really don't care. I perform better. And in their case, maybe it was true, but it was always fun, man, because they loved it. And then I played with
I
the
was
drunks and I've seen it all. So I'd like to think that I've learned not to judge.
I was one of those when I was playing. I felt like I had to have at least 3 or 4 shots before I went on stage. A lot of it was the butterflies, the nerves.
Of
You
course.
know, we played. God, I don't know, 250 gigs a year every night. Every night I was nervous. I don't know why. Just every time I'd go on stage, still about the third or fourth song, and then you kind of, you just kind of fall into the groove. But yeah,
Can't
they're
remember who it
always the butterflies.
was. Dwayne, I just saw it. It was one of the big pop stars. I don't know if it was Beyonce or that really hot country gal with the blonde hair, Carrie Underwood. It was somebody like that. And the interviewer was asking her a question about nerves and all that. And she said something to the effect of, the day I'm not nervous going out there to any crowd, I don't care if it's 10 people or 10,000, I know it's time to hang it up because you always have a little bit of butterflies, man. I mean,
Absolutely,
I do. I do. I think
absolutely.
I don't know, I'm
I mean,
assuming
I
it's
think that's human
normal,
nature.
natural, and however you want to deal with it. And like I said, I've played with a bunch of people that don't touch a drop, don't toke, don't do anything. So,
Hmm.
to me, it's as long as you're a good person, good player, good bandmate, really, really important.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't, I
100%.
don't, I don't judge.
All right, so I got to pop this thing on the screen here. You got a question to answer. See if you can see
Doug and Dave Taylor.
it. Smash the Hawk.
Well, let me tell you about that band I was playing in Indiana and their bass player. I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding.
That's
Um,
David T. We love David T.
I
What he
fucking
doesn't break
love,
TVs.
I love, love, love. Let me tell you about David Taylor, man. Heart of gold. I'll tell you about, I guess we can go in any direction we like, right? Is that
Anything.
right, Dwayne?
Yep,
So
anything.
when Sinner was
He's
getting
up there.
started, we had Chaz was our bass player, and then he took a
Hmm.
gig with Soul Circus Cowboys, and we were just like getting started. We had like 3 rehearsals, whatever, and we were booking gigs, and it was super exciting because I've known Jamie for a long time, but I was getting to know David Freeman and Steve Schaefer, and you go into those first rehearsals, and it's like, if you've been in a lot of bands, if you've been gigging cover band musician for a long time, when it's special. And I
Hmm.
just knew right away. I'm like, this is unique. This is a special, special thing. And we were all gung ho, as you are in the beginning and all that. And it's like, shit, we lost Chaz. And I'd known Chaz for a while as well. I think I'd played with him once or twice, filling in or something like that. And yeah, he left for a more established gig. Don't blame him. And he's doing great, by the way. Speaking of sober,
He
he's
is.
doing really great.
He's doing
Um,
fantastic. Chad's a good friend. He's a great guy.
so Steve brought up David Taylor, and I'm like, fuck, I don't know him. So he shows me this picture of him. And it's Dave. I'll do my best to stand up. He's fucking in his mode like this, big old fucking goatee, looks like a biker bouncer. I'm like, whoa. Speaking of not to judge, I'm like, that dude looks fucking growly and mean. And then of course you get to know him, and he's like the coolest, nicest
Dave
dude you'll
is
ever meet.
just the mellowest, nicest guy in the world. He's just a big
Yeah,
teddy
yeah,
bear. Unless he has a bass strapped on, and then he's a madman.
yeah,
He
yeah,
is
yeah.
extremely animated on stage. We'll put it at that. And just
It's
a
the best
great,
part
rock
about it,
solid
man.
bass player.
it's the best part about it is, he improvises like no
Hmm.
tomorrow, and that's kind of the nature of Sinner is,
Yep.
we only play like 8 songs a night that sound kind of like the record. Everything
Exactly.
else is Sinnerized, which is awesome. It's so fun. But in David's like perfect for that type
Hmm.
of situation. But every now and then I'll look over at him and he's doing his booga booga, I can't even do it, man. He's a big dude
Can't believe that.
and he's shaking like Motown, and it's awesome, man. As the guy on the other side of the stage, when you look over at that big dude giving his all, busting moves, and then you look at the audience and it's like, hey, I'm a guitar player. Look at me. They're all fucking looking at David Taylor, all of
Yep.
them, because he's
Yep.
got the moves, man.
Yep.
That dude has moves like no tomorrow.
No, he does.
I love
Breaking
David
breaking
Taylor, man.
TVs, and he just popped
Yeah,
this up.
I love
Mr.
that
T,
fucking
we
guy.
love you too, brother.
Yeah,
I said
yeah,
you're a phenomenal guy. We love you to death.
yeah, man.
And
He
yes,
is
even
a
though I
he
do
is a
give you shit
very
about the
fun guy to
TV,
be on stage with.
I still give him crap about the TV. So people that don't know, I guess it was, I don't know, 7, 8 months ago, you were playing at the bottle. Actually, it was more than that because that was before I redid the stage. We had the big humps on the stage, and Dave was over there, and he was kind of cramped because we had less space on the stage. He's going crazy, and we got the two TVs flanking the stage, and he comes up and bam, crashes and breaks the TV.
Hey, just for the record, officially, I think that's Russ and the Bottle House's fault. For you can't put a TV near David Taylor; it's going to get fucking
You can't put
broken.
anything near David Taylor.
So I
No,
don't blame David at all for that. And he was grooving, and I
he
remember right
was.
when that happened.
But, I know he felt so bad about it. I was like, look, dude, that's freaking rock and roll.
It's
I
rock
mean, you
and
can't get
roll.
any more rock and roll than that.
It's
In
rock and
fact,
roll.
remember when you had Nick's graduation party at your house and he was
Yeah,
playing in front of the TV? I'm thinking, oh my God,
I know.
please don't break that one.
Yeah, break the Bottle House's TV. Don't break my TV,
Yeah.
man.
He's like, I'll replace it. I said, yeah, David. Yeah. And I wasn't even, officially a part of the bottle house at that time. I was just, one of the guys. I
Yeah,
said,
that
yeah,
was a
don't
fun
worry about
night.
that,
That
David.
was a
We'll get it
fun
taken.
night,
It was a great night.
from what I remember.
And I didn't get a
That
chance.
was the
Next time
last
you
time I've been
played,
hungover, by the way. That was the last time I've been hungover was the next day after my oldest son, who's a music, he's the real musician in the family,
Mhm.
after he graduated from the University of Florida with a degree in music theory and composition. Super proud of
Oh,
him.
in fact, we're going to
He
talk
wants
about
to be
that.
a professor of rock and roll. He wants to teach rock and roll
Rough rock.
history at the university level,
No kidding.
and so he
Fantastic.
starts grad school in Miami in the fall.
Phenomenal. In fact, you know what? Real quick, let's go into that. I mean, you're not a full time musician. You actually have a real job. You're actually a professional. You actually a pretty smart guy too. Not the typical,
Thank
like
you.
me, dumbass musician. That's just, I play guitar and that's it. You got a phenomenal family. Brenda, I guess you were like college sweethearts, right?
Brenda and I met in 1994 on spring break in South Padre Island, Texas. Fun fact.
Yeah.
So we had MTV reach out to us over the years to do segments, all that kind of shit. Yeah, she went to Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana. I went to Central Michigan University in Michigan, Mount Pleasant, Michigan, and we met and we've never been apart a day since. So
And you still get along phenomenally.
31 years now.
Yeah. Nah,
Yeah.
she's a great lady. And now let's talk about the kids because, yeah, your kids have a lot going on.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
ahead, be a proud papa, brag on them.
Man, I could go on. I could take the whole
I
show.
know.
I don't want to come off as a real jackass. But
Yeah,
we
it's
are
not being a
proud of our
jackass. I mean,
kids. I
you have a
mean,
reason to be proud of your kids.
yeah, I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but I'll tell you quickly. My journey is I played in high school, college. We moved to Phoenix, Brenda and I, sight unseen, after I graduated. She graduated before me. It took me an extra semester to graduate. So, 95, we moved to Phoenix. And I played for a year or two in Phoenix. And I was just trying to get my career going, didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I quit. I quit guitar for I quit guitar for 10 years. I didn't pick up a guitar at all. And then we started to have kids when she got pregnant with Nick, our second kid. Our oldest is Macy, our daughter. Macy is graduating from law school in 3 weeks from Wake Forest University, top law school. and we're super proud of her. And she's living with us this semester because she got done with her requirements early. So she's doing an externship for a judge downtown, and she's about to figure out what job she's going to have. She has to take the bar exam in July. Um, Anyways, so we moved back to Fort Wayne, Indiana. We started to have kids, and my first business failed. It just didn't do well. Brenda is a professional interior designer by trade. Her career was doing great. Mine, I started a computer business out in Phoenix, and it was doing great for a few years. And then the bubble of '99 hit, and you know, I thought it was this big in 1998. In 1999, it was, this big. It
Hmm.
failed. No other way to say it. So we moved back to Phoenix, and I stayed in healthcare IT, which is where I've been the whole time. And then we had another child, Luke. So what happened was during that time, Macy, 6 years old, Dad, I started to pick up the guitar again, and she wanted to play something. So she was drawn to the bass and piano and vocals. Nick was 4, the musician of the family. He wanted to do something, so we put a guitar in his hands. Luke came out of the womb, and we just handed him a pair of drumsticks. So, anyways, Pinky Swear was born. So this is the best time of my life. Was there, our kids had their own 3-piece band in Indiana, northern Indiana, for 8 years called Pinky Swear. And I shit you not, they did big gigs. They broke some records. They did festivals. They recorded half an album. And it was just on its way, man. And I was so excited about it. I mean, we were investing. We hired, specialized whatever tutors. We surrounded them with music. We did.
Hmm.
And it really stuck with Nick. And I'm super proud of that. But anyways, fast forward to puberty, and they had creative differences, and the band broke up. But they wrote a couple songs that were big in the area. It was just fucking cool, man. It was
That's
so
amazing.
great. And they gigged a lot. I mean, they were doing like 15 gigs a year, and all these parents would come out. And by the way, Fort Wayne, Indiana, fun fact, is the home of Sweetwater.
Hmm.
So we lived 4 miles from Sweetwater.
Oh,
So I
that's
remember
not bad.
Sweetwater when it was in a house.
Yeah.
Sweetwater was in a house.
Yeah.
This is a true
Mm.
story. That's where I used to go get my shit, in this big house, and like 35 people worked there before they built that big campus that they're on now. And it turned into a behemoth. They lead the world now. But I remember when it was tiny. And anyway, Sweetwater sponsored them, and they did a bunch of stuff at Sweetwater, and it was just, it was great, but it didn't sustain. So, like I said, Macy is going to be our lawyer. Nick is going to grad school at FIU in the fall. And like I said, he wants to be a professor of music. How cool is that? And he plays in a band in Gainesville called the Mangoes. He's
Yep.
playing bass in that band, but Nick can
I saw
play
your post.
anything. Yeah, Nick's legit. He's like
Hmm.
a legit musician. It runs. I'm a hack. I mean, I try hard, but I don't have it naturally like Nick has it, and he puts the time into it. And then Luke, our youngest, he is finishing up his second year at the United States Air Force Academy. So I do
Amazing.
sound like proud papa. I am. I
You
boast a
have
lot, but
every
we
right to be.
we Brenda and I are simpatico in a lot of ways. Not always, but in a lot of ways. And
Mhm.
one of them was achievement is a big deal in our household. It's just as best as I can say it. We wanted our kids to achieve whatever they're going to set out to do, but as being a lawyer, being a musician, being a patriot, being in the military, be the absolute best. And so, yeah, I'm extremely proud of my kids.
And like I said, my friend, you honestly have every right to be proud of them. They're phenomenal. Obviously, my family was. I have a strong military background in my family, so
I didn't know that.
obviously the academy is. That's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, all of
It's a
them.
BFD, man. It's a
They've
big,
all
he
done
worked
phenomenal.
so hard to get into that academy. And
Oh yeah, I
it's
know it takes a lot of
hard,
work.
man. They work those kids hard. And he's still drumming.
Hmm.
He's got his little electric kit. And when his active duty's done, he wants to go to law school, all that kind of stuff. But he's told me, he's like, Dad, I want to be in a cover band later on. He liked it. He was a
Yeah, it's kind of
showman.
fun.
He's like 8 years old, spinning the sticks and doing the high freaking, the high crashes and all this stuff. It was awesome. It was
Yeah,
so
there's good.
awesome.
There are good times. Let's see what Misty popped up here.
Misty. We'll adopt you. We'll adopt
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
But Misty, I think, has met, I mean, a lot of people have met Macy. A
Hmm.
lot of people have met Nick. And again, I think what we're most proud of, Brenda and I, is, man, our kids get along with anybody, any
Good, yeah,
walk of
good
life. It
kids,
doesn't
good
matter
kids.
if it's New York City private equity, if it's having beer, you know, with a union plumber or a musician, they get along with everybody. They respect everybody. They listen. They look them in the eye. You know, we tried hard with our kids. I mean,
Man, I
we were
know,
really hands on.
and they come whenever they can to support Dad when he's on stage. They get to see
Yeah,
the other side of Dad when he's
yeah.
on stage.
Well, they
The
run
live
up my
ones.
fucking tab, is what they
Well,
do.
I'm not raising your tab.
Dude, I remember one night, I think it was at the damn bottle house. Nick, Macy, a bunch of Macy's friends, Nick's friends showed up. There's a whole gaggle of them. And I mean, I know how much I spend. I have one, maybe two shots, usually, sometimes more, in a few beers over the course of a night.
Hmm.
You know, 7 hours. I time it out. You know, getting a drunk driving is not going to work for me in my career. I mean, I could really impair my career. So I just
Yep,
know I know how far I can go without being over the line at
exactly.
3 in the morning driving home. I get my bill and it's like $240. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. I think I talked to Misty. I'm like, never let her run up my tab again.
Misty popped this up. Here's a message from Misty.
Thank you, Misty. Thank
Yeah,
you.
they are. They're good kids. Great kids.
Yeah, yeah.
You were speaking about Phoenix. Yeah, the last time that I was in a consistent band, committed, I was in Arizona.
Were you in
I
Phoenix?
was in Payson.
Yeah, yeah,
Payson area, about 90 miles north. There's about
yeah,
5 bars to play there. So yeah, we had to
yeah.
travel a little bit if we wanted to play anywhere. But it's just the music scene out there was completely different than it is here,
So
unless
we
you're in
moved.
Phoenix.
Yeah, yeah. I just we a bunch of our friends moved out there before us,
Hmm.
and one of them was a singer. So we had this band going, you know, a couple gigs, this and that. But I was really trying to get my career off the ground, so I didn't have a lot of time on it. I wasn't much of a lead player then. I'm still not much of a lead player, but I wasn't much of a lead player then. And Phoenix, like Tampa, you know, St. Pete, Clearwater, a lot of talent. I mean, there's a lot of
Oh,
good
absolutely,
pickers,
absolutely.
pickers out there. Quick story. I bought this out there. I think I got it from a pawn shop, an old 90s Jackson Dinky. I'm a
Hmm.
lefty, by the way. I'm left-handed. So it's not always easy for me to find good guitars. And this one was just flawless, perfect. Anyways, fast forward, I kept it for a long time, forever. And 3 years ago, I got a phone call when we moved into the house we're in now in Apollo Beach. We had to keep a bunch of shit in storage, including these guitars, these lefties I'd been collecting. And a few of them were irreplaceable. Parker, that's now out of
Hmm.
business. I had a nice 12 string lefty. I had, you know, a real Gibson SG. I had a real Les Paul. I had one of everything that was kind of legit. And there, it's hard to come by sometimes. I've been collecting them for 20 years. Lightning hit the storage unit and fucking burned it down. I lost 18 guitars.
I remember we were talking
Sucked,
about that one
including
time.
that
And
Jackson Dinky.
yeah,
That, I mean, I probably wouldn't play it now. Maybe if I gutted it and all that kind of stuff. Something I'm getting into, by the way, is all really trying to learn how to wire up my own electronics because I never really did that. I
well,
always
that's what happens.
outsourced it.
That's what happens when you have free time.
Yeah, I
Mine have
like it.
turned into wall art. I have so little time. I hate to say it. I maybe pick up a guitar once a week, every week or two. I just don't have
Yeah, I've
time.
seen you play, man. You're good.
But I don't have time anymore. I literally, I mean,
Tell me,
they're
brother.
hanging on my wall. I just don't have time.
Tell
Face
me,
it, with
brother.
my job, the bottle house, doing this. It's also all the preparation and all the Facebook page and obviously booking bands is not. That's
Yeah,
not a simple. Just make a phone call. Hey, I want to book you.
yeah,
It's not. Trust me,
I
it's
know.
not that simple. I mean, every day I'm getting messages, and I got a
Yep,
cancellation here, so I got to scurry to get that taken care of. So yeah, it's a
yep,
lot involved in that. So, and of course, putting all this stuff together. And
yep,
I've been doing a lot of research, what I need, what equipment is going to serve me best doing this kind of stuff. And that's why I said I just got in a bunch of new equipment today. After
yep.
my little stint at the bottle house last weekend, when to me it was a complete and utter failure. I said never again because I want to do. I want to go live at the bottle house about once a month. So now I can actually have up to 5 people on stage with me, all with separate mics, separate inputs, separate headphones, everything, and I can do it right. I mean, it's an
Dude, it's
investment, but
part of
to
the
do things,
journey, man. Is
it
learning.
is.
You
Well,
know,
I
learning
kind of
what not
enjoy
to
this.
do.
I know Russ and I talked about it, and we talked about expanding this into other things too, not just music, but into other fields. And I'm like, I don't know that much. I know construction and music, and that's about it. But,
I know computers
see,
and
I'm
music.
getting
That's
messages
about
right.
it.
I'm getting messages right now. Yeah, I guess most
Ah,
people don't know I'm trying to do a
I
podcast
know
right
it's
now.
busy. I always hated the book. I mean, I've had the book.
Uh,
I always help a little bit, but like it's Center, Steve does all the bookings, and I thank him
mm,
for it because he's good at it, and it's a pain in the
it
ass.
is a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the
On the
ass on both
band
ends.
side, it's a pain in the ass
It's a pain in the ass on both
because it's
sides.
not only a pain in the ass dealing with the venues, it's a pain in the ass dealing with the other three or four guys.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Well, and a lot of the guys have other things going on.
yeah,
Obviously David Lee. I mean, I don't think the guy sleeps. Quite honestly, with
indefatigable.
everything he has going on. Obviously David T. He's got stuff going on. Jamie, when he was with you, well, Jamie's another one. He's like you know, have drum will travel or have guitar, have anything, and he'll show up and do a. Hell, he'd probably come over to my house and co-host this with me if I paid him.
He'd probably do it right now.
Probably waiting, itching.
I
Nothing
love
like
that
him.
fucking guy. This
He's
is another guy
I do
that
love Jamie.
Jamie and I just had a language. You know, he's a great bandmate, by the way,
Yeah.
great musician all
Oh,
around. But
phenomenal.
yeah, you're playing, you make mistakes sometimes, or it's just hitting. It's just you're
Hmm.
grooving. And you know, I play stage right, so every now and then I just kind of look over at him, and he'd look over at me, and it was just a moment. And that would happen a few times a night. And it could be I fucking hit a sour note, he dropped a stick, whatever, and we kind of look at each other, and, yeah, laugh it off, whatever. Or it could be, man, it's just we're in the pocket. It sounds good. So
A little
yeah, I love
funny,
that guy.
funny memory going back. I want to say about a year and a half ago. Remember, you were coming into the bottle house and you dropped your fractal,
Oh yeah,
and you got up on stage, and
I do remember that. I was frantic,
and
dude.
and, and it detuned you. You were playing. You're like a half a step off. You're looking like, what the hell's going on? And
I
I was
know
thinking
what
something happened
happened.
on that.
You know what? It's funny that you mentioned that because what ultimately happened was digital. This little button stuck in,
Hmm.
and so the computer board didn't know what to do with it,
Yep.
and so the next day after it was so frantic because I ended up having to borrow Steve's pedal board to get through the
Yep.
gig, and it was a good gig, all that kind of stuff. Because Steve uses the same thing basically. Um, got a hold of Fractal, and their Fractal's phenomenal. I've been using Fractal for over 12 years now, back when they were like a 9-person shop. Now they're this
Hmm.
behemoth. Anyways, they said it has the symptoms of a stuck button. And here was the remedy. Take your finger and go in circles for 60 seconds and then go in reverse circles to just unstuck the gunk in there. Shit, beer, shit gets stuck in it.
Hmm.
And so that's what I did. It's worked fine ever since, but I know it's sticky. So I just ordered this $9 part. It's the number one button, the button I use the most.
Yep.
And that's what it was that night. That's
Well,
funny that
we
you remember
talked, and
that.
I switched over. I went Helix, and
Yeah, Helix, same deal.
I haven't turned my amps on in over a year. Of course, I still got my big old pedal board over there with all my pedals because I was always one of those. I like my pedal board. Yeah, I like knowing when I step on a button what's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm still getting used to the Helix. Quite honestly, for one thing, you have to be a
Takes a
damn
while.
computer tech. Yeah, you got to know how to program the thing basically.
Yeah, it
So
takes a
I
while.
run into stuff. Hell, I didn't know it did that. It's kind of like doing this stuff. People ask me how I learned how to do all this stuff. Remember, I'm a contractor and a musician. I don't know how to do this crap. I just
See, it's fun though.
started
The,
putting
the
stuff
journey
together.
is learning.
It
I mean,
is.
the journey is learning. I mean, I'm still learning shit on it, and I dove into it early on. And some patches I borrow from other people. It's just I do a lot of weird shit on that. I do synth tones. I do all kinds of
Hmm.
weird shit on it. But I love it because I don't know if it makes you a better musician. I won't say that at all. But it makes you think
It
about
does.
how to construct the sound.
It does.
Especially in cover bands or the
Hmm.
sound that you have in your head. Yeah.
Well, one thing I've noticed, and one negative, I spend more time chasing a certain tone with it because
Fact.
I know I can get there. So instead of
Fact.
practicing, I'm okay. I got to chase this one
That's why I
tone.
said it. It probably makes you a worse musician because you're
Yeah,
not practicing enough. That's right.
exactly. You're on
Yeah.
there just, because obviously with the computer program, I can go and tweak everything on there, and I'm constantly just tweaking, just here and there. Just I want to get
Yep.
that perfect tone. But but other than that, I also enjoy it too. But every
Yep.
now and then, I look over my pedal board, and I got to show that thing some love or sell everything,
Yep.
one of the two.
Hey, dude,
All
can
right,
I do a shameless plug? So
absolutely.
speaking of amps, What do I have? Right now, I have a Mesa dual rectifier.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even very old. It's like 6 years old with a matching 1x12 cabinet. It's 3 channel, 100 watt. It's like crazy incredible that
That
I'm
Mesa's
selling.
a bone. It's a bone crusher.
Yeah, it's a bone crusher.
It is.
You could play a stadium with it. You've heard it on all these albums. And then I have a Soldano Astro 20, brand new, 1x12. I bought it for the surgery, and I messed around with it for a week or two, and I'm just like, I like the sound of my fractal better.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, anyways, I've got 2 amps for sale.
And quite a few
I'll give you the
guitars that
bottle
you're
house
selling as
discount.
well. Yeah. 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 Plus 10%. Got to
Oh
pay for
yeah,
that tab.
yeah. Plus Dwayne's fee.
That's right. Got to pay that tab. That's right. If you're advertising on here, I get a cut, right?
We'll have to rewrite the contract.
Obviously, you know, buddy, anything I can do to help you. Hell yeah.
That's funny.
So I got a
That's
challenge to
funny.
people. I want to call in. I want somebody to call in because again, I got this new shit here and I don't want to try it out. So I guess it really doesn't matter because I've got business cards and everybody in the freaking Hillsborough County probably knows my number by now. But anybody that wants
What
to
number do they
in,
call? Your cell
just,
number?
yeah, my cell number.
Oh, okay.
Dude, it's attached to this thing. I got all kinds of crap on this. I got little red lights flashing everywhere and hell, I got
It's pretty
this.
cool.
I can
Somebody
add all this
misspelled
stuff in.
guitar
I
on
can
my
add all this
name.
crap. I got sound effects. Yeah. I got everything on this thing. I'm just,
love it.
you know, again, I just got it. Literally, it showed up in my house at like 4:30, and I figured I just
Well
got home from
done.
work. I could
You
take a
sound like
shower,
you're in the
gotta pull
room,
this out.
man. Yeah.
You know, it sounds.
You don't look very good, but you sound good.
Well, you know, I tell everybody I have a face for radio.
That's right.
And again, then my mother heard me play guitar, or she heard me sing and bought me a guitar. Well, that didn't work out either. But yeah, I want somebody to call because I want to test this thing. Okay, I'm going to throw it out there. My number is 813-293-8317. Somebody give me a shout. We're going to talk to Todd. First come, first serve. And yes, Misty, I see you popping in here. You're going to get your turn. I do have a beeper button on here too, so I can bleep everything out just for Misty. She was worried about coming on. She said, well, I don't know. You might not like me on there. I said, don't worry about it. I'll bleep it.
If she heckles us, I'll just moon her.
Exactly. So next time I'm at the Bottle House Live, I told her I'm going to get her ass up on stage too. And actually, I think I'm going to have a co-host next time I'm there. Steve Weekly, he was up with me last time, and he said, man, next time you do it, I want to co-host with you. I said, yeah, come on up. More the merrier.
Another dude I like a lot.
Yeah,
He's a
Steve's
veteran. He's Air Force veteran. Steve's cool
Yeah.
as fuck.
Just a great guy.
He is a
Great guy.
cool cat.
Yep. So we still got a bunch of people on here watching. So somebody give me a call. Again, 813-293-8317. I want to do this because it's kind of an experiment to make sure this works the way I think it's going to. Which it should. It's even got an echo canceller, so when they call in, they won't get the rollover. So let's see how that goes.
So Dwayne, I come back on June 7th. We have a gig. It's not at the Bottle House.
Yeah, cheater.
I'm stoked, man. Like I said, some new songs, all that kind of stuff. But just to be back with Steve and David and, David and now Sean. And again, special thanks to Matt Lupo for filling in. Great player, great sound, great tone,
Oh, yeah.
awesome, even a better person. But really appreciate him standing in for me for all these gigs so I could get my knees done. And pretty excited, man. June, what is 6 weeks away? So
You're close.
pretty stoked.
You're really close.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to getting you back up there. Like I said, you can duck walk now. New knees.
Man.
You'll be jumping off the freaking stage.
It'll be weird. I won't be fully rehabilitated yet, but
Yeah.
it'll just be nice not to, if you're in pain, and it was legit, man. It was like legit
Oh, I've been there. I
freaking
know.
pain.
Yeah.
And especially with David Freeman and David Taylor, those guys get down, man. They're big dudes and they boogie. And I want to boogie too. And I couldn't. I was always worried my knee was gonna pop out or something. I wouldn't be able to finish the gig, whatever. So I'm not gonna have that fear anymore. I'm really excited about it.
I understand a lot too because I suffer with sciatica. I've got some herniations in my lower back, so I get sciatica spells, and that just runs down my leg, and it just freaking kills me.
Getting
Oh,
old
yeah,
sucks.
I get it. Yeah, I mean it doesn't
Sucks.
happen all the time, but every now and then I get a spell where it drives
What
me
do you do?
insane.
Stretch?
There's not a whole hell of a lot that I found that I can do about it. Yeah, I do stretch, and I try everything I can, but it's
Just wait it
basically
out?
nerves. Yeah, it's nerves. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
the herniation's pressing on the nerve, and it runs down my leg, and it sucks. And there's not a lot. I mean, sometimes you see me in the bottle house, all uncomfortable. In fact, 3 weeks ago, I threw my back out really bad. I mean, I couldn't even tie my shoes. I was still working, but I was in there, and I'm like, oh God, I was just so uncomfortable. And that took about a week and a half, but it's finally gotten to the point now where it's a lot better, so I can move again.
You should rename this podcast to Two Old Dudes Bitching About Their Health.
Exactly. Somebody said on one of them, is this the Geezer cast or what? Hey, I'm not young anymore. Can't help it.
The Geezer cast.
Yeah. Actually, for my age, I still feel like I get around. I mean,
I'm a contractor.
I bust my ass all day.
Yeah, man. I feel great too. Yeah.
I said, I'm tickling 60 pretty damn close here. So,
Yeah. I'm tickling 55. I'm not that far behind.
Yeah. Remember when 60 used to be old?
Yeah.
It's like 20 years ago, 60 was old. Now I'm thinking, well, 60 is not that damn old. At least I hope it's not.
Shit, Brenda's in her 50s. I'm like, damn, you look good, gal.
Yeah, exactly.
You look real good.
And she does. All right. I'm still waiting for that phone call. Again, 813-293-8317. Somebody call in. I want to try this thing out. So anyway, so moving on. So what's the future for Todd consist of?
Well, career-wise, I'm on my last gig, so I hope to retire here in a couple, 2-3 years. And then it'll probably be, hanging out with Brenda, kids, traveling music. So that's probably where I'll go into high gear on music. I'd like to write originals in an album someday, but I'm not going to do it until I'm retired and I can really devote my time to it. Outside of that, looking forward to getting back on stage with Sinner and the guys. When you're in a band like that, there's only so many gigs you can do a month or a year. And a lot of the guys are in multiple gigs. Everybody's got a day job, all that kind of shit. So I'm the type that when I'm doing it, which I've pretty much always done it, cover band stuff, I want a gig once a week. So I'll probably join another band maybe in the second half of the year. Got some buddies starting up some stuff that I'm pretty excited about. Got a couple of other opportunities we're starting to talk about, but nothing overly serious. Just fun music that gets the gals dancing with dudes I like or gals I like, whatever. So I just want to be busy. I want to gig 50 times a year. That's it.
Yeah.
So other than that, it's work. I work a lot, and so it helps me in my career because I've got this timeline, like I said, 2 or 3 years where I can finally hang it up, and I'm super excited about it. But when you gig every weekend, the weeks just go by; they just fly through, and that helps me on my mission.
And it's also one thing I've noticed, it's kind of a release, doing what I do, doing this stuff. It's so different from what I do. I'd say 9 to 5, but it's not 9 to 5, 7 to 6 or whatever it is every day. This is like completely the opposite. I'm out in the field sweating, busting my ass, getting dirty, and doing this. That's why I kind of, when I started doing the stuff at the bottle house in the video, I decided, okay, I want to add something to this. That's when I started bringing in different cameras, different views, microphones, just trying to get a little bit better views, better sound.
I dig it.
And then, the podcast, actually, I started this, and Russ said, you know what? I've been pushing for this for a long time. Yeah, I'm glad you're finally doing this. He said, I really didn't have to say anything to you. You just took it. And I said, well, to me, it made sense. It's a platform for musicians and people in the industry just to get on and talk about their stuff and what they have coming.
Yeah, you got people listening, man. It's cool. And you're like this, It's my little hand gesture, which means you're ascending, you're moving forward, you're trying new things, you're trying. There's a lot of people in life, dude, they just don't try.
I get bored easy.
Whatever they're doing, whether it's your work or your personal life or your hobbies or your health or whatever, they don't even try. And now that I'm getting older and cranky, becoming my grandfather, I just have no respect for that at all. Whatever you're doing, man, try. Just try. That's all I ask. If you try, if you're really into it, fuck, you're a friend of mine. I like it.
Like I said, this, adding new stuff because, I'll do something, I like to experiment with different things. Well, okay, this didn't work. What can I try? And again, for the people that did watch last week, I apologize because it didn't go the way I expected it to. But I learned a hell of a lot by making that mistake.
You got to stop, man. You got to stop. That's the third time.
Exactly.
Yes. Stop. Apologize.
No, I mean, to me, it was a flop. But the good thing is, like I told everybody, okay, now I know what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
And now I know what I need.
So it
because when I
wasn't a
get people
failure
in
at
there,
all. It's a success. You learn from it.
you're right. It wasn't a failure. It was just a learning opportunity. I learned from
Yeah.
it, and I learned, okay. So I'd started doing some research because, I'm one of those guys, I research everything. I'll get on YouTube and research and watch every damn video in the world comparing different podcast units to, which one's better, which one's going to suit my needs more. And actually, that's why I came up with this one, because it's so diverse in what I can do with it. And I said, okay, well, it's time to pull the trigger. I guess that's what I need. And with that, I bought more mics. I bought more headphones. So everybody could have their own headphone, own mic when we're on stage. And like I said, I got a bunch of condenser mics because, well, not everybody knows how to talk on a dynamic mic.
Right.
Condenser mics, they can be 6 inches away from it, and still I can pick up everything.
Yeah.
So that's why I decided to go with that.
Pro. That's great.
Yeah. And just, some comfortable headphones. That was the key too, because, headphones, when you have them on for an hour or two, can suck.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure everything was comfortable. And yeah, I mean, this thing, like I said, first time using it, everything seems it's pretty self-explanatory, even for an idiot.
Well, hey, man, those headphones look really good.
Yeah. I had a different pair. These are the new ones. And I put these on after the old ones. I'm like, wow, they're a lot more comfortable. I'm gonna stick to these now.
Yeah. What kind are they?
Hit my big. They're just test cams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, they're not $100 cans. I can't
Well,
afford
they've been
to buy
around forever.
$500 cans. It's like
They've
the
been
mic.
around forever.
These are Movo mics. They're podcast mics. I was actually using an SM57, which actually worked pretty well, but not everybody
Best
knows how to use
instrument
a
mic
mic
in
like
history.
that. But it's great for doing this. Because it's omnidirectional. I didn't get a lot of background noise from it. And I actually still use that in the bottle house, because what I've been doing at the bottle house before the band goes on, I usually do just to hop on and do a quick live shot from the bottle house and, walk around and talk to a few people. And it works out good for that. So,
Yeah. You sound great on this one.
yeah, I'm learning. It's a learning experience for me, and I actually enjoy it. That's why I like doing this stuff, because it actually occupies my mind.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I get bored easy. I'm not the type to come home and sit down in front of the TV, because if I do, I just fall asleep.
Well, like you said, it's the release, man. I'll
It
tell you, again, just doing this as long as I have, I can count on one hand where, this Britta, that's funny. I can count on one hand how many times I've gotten home and I'd be like, man, that gig sucked. It just sucked. I wish that gig never happened. I mean, sometimes that happens, but they're either, hey man, I got some endorphins out of it. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Or it was just bonkers awesome. And I mean, it is a true endorphin release without question, especially when you see your buddies out there, or, just people dancing, young, old, doesn't matter. And they're just in the moment and they're liking what you're doing and liking the environment of the bar. That's money, man. It feels good. Feels
Well,
great.
and Center definitely has a following.
Yeah.
Center has, I know when I book Center, I don't have to worry about, obviously I still advertise it, but I don't have to worry about it because I know they're just going to show up.
Yeah. Shouldn't be a flop. We're unique, man, because of all of it. The thesis of the band, this is, Steve Schaefer's idea. It was a good idea then. It's a good idea now, is we're going to make the songs our own. It's going to be hits that from all these different genres.
Right.
Metal, hard rock. The only thing we don't do is classic rock. We really don't do much classic rock. Pop, oldies, bebop,
show tunes,
country, show tunes. And we're going to make it our own and rock it up a little bit. And we put a lot of heavier shit in the third set when the real rockers are still there, at 1 a.m. And it just that format worked. And we knew it right away. I knew it the first rehearsal. I'm like, it's going to be a wildly successful band.
Well, and it's entertaining. And I tell a lot of the guys like that when they come into the bottle house, especially the first time. I said, the bottle house is unique.
Yeah.
Bottle house tends to be kind of a listening bar. Everybody kind of sits back and drinks and listens. I said, you got to be an entertainer to get the crowd involved.
Yeah.
You got to work the crowd. If you don't,
I'd like to say we are that.
Oh yeah.
And we got these singers that are just, Steve is, he's pretty much the best singer I've ever played with. I mean, that guy can sing the phone book. No. He is phenomenal and a good front man. David's a madman. He's a great singer.
And David has a niche that not a lot of guys around here have. There's certain songs that he
owns it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
He owns it. He owns that stage.
You know,
I
the
love
video
it.
stuff, I don't
I
even
love it.
try to follow them on video because I'll be all over the freaking bar.
And I wish we were on stage right now. Just exactly the, the visual
Mhm.
that we're talking about. The bar's full, people are dancing, we're doing our thing up there. David and Steve are singing. It's a little slice of heaven. It
Yeah,
really
but
is. I don't mean
you
to blow
needed this.
smoke, man, but when it's good, it's great.
Oh, I agree. I've been there. I know. And you know what? And you feed off of that energy from the crowd.
Ah,
I mean, there's no better feeling
so
when you
good.
got, we're not a huge bar. We don't have 500 people in there. But when you have 100 people in there and they're enjoying themselves and they're dancing, it's just like a rush. I mean, you can't get that off of drugs.
We
It's a
packed a
rush.
lot more in there than 100,
Yeah,
modestly.
we've been at capacity a few times, probably
Yeah,
capacity plus,
yeah.
because we have a capacity of 129.
I love it.
Yeah,
I
we can
love
only
it.
do so much, and yeah, we've been at capacity. And like I said, that's a rush. You can't get it off of anything unnatural. It's just a natural rush.
It's
And
good.
that is one thing I miss. And people ask me all the time, well, why don't you play anymore? Well, I do play. I've decided, okay, I'm not playing live anymore. I kind of got burnt out. Now I'm on the other side of the mic, I guess. I'm doing
Yeah,
my thing this way, and it
you're
still
still in the
allows
game.
me
I love it.
exactly still allows me to stay involved with the industry. And actually, I get to meet more and more people by doing this stuff and talk to more
Yeah,
people and get to know
yeah,
guys. I mean, I know all the musicians, but gives me a chance too to get to know them on more of a personal level. I've had some guys on here and we talked about things that I had no clue, and it's just nice to get to know people away from the stage because
yeah.
it's work when we're there.
Well,
Everybody's
geez,
trying to make
Dwayne,
something before then.
what's your favorite color? Now that we're getting to know each other.
What's my favorite color? Uh, where's my Les
Mine's
Paul
metal.
at? That's right.
Oh, I love it. I
Black,
love it.
black, black's my
Yes,
favorite color.
black. That's right. That's right. That's
Slim.
good stuff.
That's it.
Good stuff. Well, what else can I answer for you? What else you got on your list?
Well, we talked about what you have coming up. Obviously
Yeah.
you're looking for something to kind of supplement the time
Yeah.
with us center. You're going to get into something else. And we've talked about that a few times. You're starting to make some plans for that. Yeah, because obviously, like I
Yeah.
said, center can't play Friday and Saturdays because everybody in the band has something else going on. Like I
Yeah.
said, David Lee, I don't think the guy ever sleeps. I mean, he's going like a
Yeah.
madman.
And variety is the spice of life too. I'll tell you
Exactly.
this, it's not something I'm going to rush into. It's
Hmm.
got to be right. I've
Exactly.
been in plenty of average bands. I don't want to be in an average band, and I got to like the players and the material and all that. You
Yeah.
know.
Well, and that's when I was playing. There were bands I played in that just it didn't feel right. And
No.
there was one or two bands that we were brothers.
Yep.
When there's 4 or 5 guys on stage and you're brothers, you enjoy being around each other.
Yep.
We get up after we play a gig because we were traveling back then. We go out and play golf. Back when I played golf, and these
Yeah.
are guys I hung around with, not only played with, but then on the flip side of that, there were bands that I was in. We got off stage. I didn't want to see the assholes. I don't want to have anything to do with you guys away from doing this.
Yeah. And that's no fun, man.
It's
I mean,
not.
unless you're, I don't know, touring and making lots of money,
Hmm.
maybe I could do it. But no, man, life, I mean, you get past the midway point in life, and I don't, I need to play with people I respect and
Yeah.
like.
I
And by
decided when.
respect, I mean, I don't care where you're at in life,
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Like I said earlier, as long as you're trying,
Yeah.
if we're in this band, put the required amount of energy and passion into it,
Hmm.
whatever it is. Don't be a dickhead. Don't argue everything. Don't show up unprepared. It's just the simplest things, man. Just try. Put in some effort. That's it.
I was just thinking, I still want to try this phone thing. I'm going to call somebody. Who do I want to call here?
You want me to have my daughter call it in?
Well, she can. Is she
What's the
there?
number again? 813.
813-293-8317. I'm just curious. I want to see how well it's going to work. Because one of the reasons I got this is because I can take phone calls on live on air.
We'll see
That's
if
why I
she
wanted to.
responds to my text.
Yeah. Is she home now?
Yeah, her and Brenda are
Yeah.
downstairs watching some
She's
stupid show.
doing her thing. She's got mom
Watching
time.
Handmaid's Tale or some shit.
Yeah, they got mom daughter time.
Yeah.
But yeah, to me, playing became a job. When it became a job and it wasn't fun anymore, so, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I was showing up to get paid. I wasn't showing up to have fun. I was showing up to get paid. And I said, that's not why I started doing this stuff. I was never one of those guys, or I'm going to be rich and famous. Nah,
Yeah,
back
me
then the
neither.
chances of that were slim. I just wanted to do it, have a good time. I did a lot of, well, I was kind of a bad boy back then. I did a lot of things that I'm not necessarily proud of as I got older.
But you're not a bad boy anymore.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, I did like a 180. Back then I was promiscuous well, that doesn't even begin to explain it. And now it's like, yeah, I don't have time for that stuff. Just want to do my thing. Enjoy life, have fun. Come home to my dog. In fact, he hadn't been snoring. I'm surprised. I figured it snoring would come through the mic. He's still zonked out. He's dead to the world. Whenever I do this, he comes in the studio with me and just zonks out.
Yeah, I love it.
He doesn't get too far away. Big freaking horse. Yeah. He's laying over there, his tongue's hanging out the side of his mouth. He's
Awesome.
He's got the head the size of a bowling ball.
She just tried to call you, and she said it went straight to voicemail, dude.
Oh, really? Wonder why. Let me see here.
Are you on Do Not Disturb or something?
No, I don't think so. Oh, you know what? Actually, we're going to call her.
Will it work?
I think so.
She said she left a message in your question. This could be trouble, by the way.
Trying to figure it. All right, can you hear me?
Hi.
Can you hear me?
This is Mason.
I know, Macy. I'm talking to your dad. Can you hear her, Todd?
Yeah, I can hear her. Hi, honey.
Oh, cool. So this
Yeah,
works.
can you hear me?
Well, I want to make sure it's not coming through the phone.
Dwayne wants to test out his
I'm
new
testing it.
equipment.
I got a new toy, and I have to see. I'm supposed to be able to take phone calls, so we figured we use you as a guinea pig.
Yeah, guinea pig.
So are you going to edit the recording or is it
Nope,
live?
we're live. You're
Live. Yeah, be careful. She's
You're
interviewing
coming
for
straight
jobs.
through.
Don't ask any bad
You
questions.
can't cuss.
Are you ready for my first question?
Fire
Yeah.
away.
What is a song that changed your life?
Oh, good one.
Oh shit, man.
That was a good one. Made you think. Yeah.
It's obscure a bit, but Salisbury Hill by Peter Gabriel. I love that song.
That is
About him
obscure.
getting fired from Genesis. Yeah.
That is pretty obscure.
You know this. You know the song though if you heard it. It's a great song. It's like one of my favorite songs of all time.
See, I should have brought her on as a co-host. We could really
Yeah,
dig
she's
deep.
good. She's pretty too. All right, one more question, honey.
I can't hear him.
What's that? You can.
I can hear you, but I can't hear him.
Huh.
Oh.
I wonder.
All right. Well, Dwayne, you got some troubleshooting to do.
Yep, that's something I got to play with. Like I said, yeah, you only learn by experimenting, right? Of course, I don't know. Maybe I could have the wrong
Okay, I
setting on
have
my phone.
another one.
Okay, shoot.
What is your favorite band that you ever played with and why?
I didn't hear it.
One more time.
What's your favorite band that you ever played with and why?
Oh. Well, I would say Sinner because it's unique. We're a unique band in that we experiment with all these songs across all these eras and genres. And we have, two lead singers that are both super talented, and we bring a shitload of energy. But the material itself it's unique. You don't see bands going from Godsmack to, Run Around Sue to Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars and everything in between. And, country. I don't even know the name of the country artists that we cover. I just know the songs.
I think I know them better than you do.
Yeah. Honey, thank you for the questions. Thanks for helping Dwayne test out
Yes.
his
Thank you
equipment.
very
that he has
much. We
troubleshoot.
appreciate it. We appreciate your helping
Thank
us.
you.
Bye.
Appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
That's funny. All right, how we doing on time, bro?
We've been on for an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's up to you. You got anything else going on? We can plug all the stuff that you're selling. Again, you're going to be back with Center in 6 weeks,
Yep.
and then your first date back at the Bottle House after that would be here. Let me go to my calendar real quick here.
I don't know.
I'm going to tell you in a second. Okay, so you're going to be back in June
14th.
June 14th. You're at the Bottle House June 14th.
Yep. June 14th. Yeah,
That's
I
not your
come
first day
back the
back,
week
though.
before,
Oh,
so
okay,
I'll
okay.
have one gig to,
To
break
warm up
out,
for the bottle house.
work out all the rust, and then
Yeah,
I'll be at
because
Bottle House on June 14th, and
everybody says
super
that.
stoked about it.
Well, people have told me the Bottle House is one of those bucket list bands or bars. You just have to play the Bottle House. That's where you
You
got to
got to
you
play the
got to play the
Bottle
Bottle
House.
House. Yeah. So you'll have a
Fun
week to get ready
story.
for us.
So when we moved here from Indiana, it's been 9 years now. 9 years, is that right? About 9 years. And I have an old buddy from high school, Scott Fader,
Hmm.
who's up at the Bottle House,
Yep.
quite a bit. And he's like, "Hey, my favorite cover band's playing at the Bottle House." So this is like the first week I was here. So Bottle House was the first bar I ever went to. Fuck, I can't remember the name of that band. I'll think of it in a minute. And they were incredible. Place was packed and got shitty drunk, and it was fun, man. It was fun. And I told Scott, I'm like, "Hey, I want to play here someday." And lo and behold, I've probably played there 100 times since.
Yeah. Now you're almost like a house band.
Yeah, maybe not 100 times, but certainly 50 or 70.
In fact, Steve actually, just a couple months ago, he messaged me and said, "Well, I know we're not booked that night, but do you think we could play in there?" And his birthday's in November.
Yes.
He said, "We'd like to play the Bottle House." So I said, "You know what? I'll figure it out. We'll make it work." So we have you actually an extra day this year at the Bottle House, so we make sure we have you for Steve's birthday.
Did you haven't booked it yet? I'm
It's
looking at my
booked.
calendar right
It's
now.
booked. Yep, it's November. I'll tell you here in a second.
Oh no.
November 8th.
Shit, man.
That got you like 3 months playing like once a month there.
This is bad news because I can't do that gig.
Oh, you're kidding.
No.
Oh, that sucks.
I
That sucks.
am,
Well, I mean, obviously,
we have a big work conference that
well,
week.
I was going to
It's
say you
in
do travel
Hawaii.
a lot for your job. So,
Yeah.
so that's
I
understandable.
know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, cancel that conference shit.
Yeah,
Reschedule.
right.
Just tell them to reschedule.
Yeah, it's our biggest one of the year.
Yeah.
God,
You know, unfortunately-
any other Saturday that month works for me.
Unfortunately, we all got to pay the bills so we can afford to do this stuff.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear
Yeah,
you.
because it's not a cheap hobby. Trust me, it's not a cheap hobby.
Let me hold that thought.
Hmm.
Let's verify when I'm actually supposed to be there. Maybe I'll just go to the airport after the gig and fly to Hawaii.
Hawaii.
That's where the conference is.
Well, I tell you what, that's a Saturday night, and I'm not doing anything the next day. So if you need somebody to keep you
Well, you
awake,
can work the booth too. It sounds all glamorous. It
Yeah, I
actually
know it.
sucks.
I know
mean,
it's not glamorous.
obviously it's a long flight, but it's not. It's not a bunch of fun, man. You're working 18-hour days. It sucks, actually.
but at least you're working in Hawaii.
Yeah, fair
I
enough.
mean, it's
Fair
better
enough.
than working in Duluth or something like that.
Everybody thinks it's glamorous until you do it for a few years.
I used to travel a lot with work, and and everybody says, "Well, you get to travel." I said, "Yeah, but it's work.
It
It's not like I can go
sucks.
anywhere and have fun. I'm still working."
It's the
we're actually
one
working
thing
longer
I'm not
days.
going to miss is work travel.
Yeah.
And there are years where I travel a ton. It's been nice getting these knees done because I haven't traveled for work at all. This is where I work, right where I'm sitting right now.
Mhm.
But that's all ending here in a couple weeks, and I got to be back out on the road.
Back to
during the week.
reality.
Yeah.
Back to reality and back to the stage.
Yep.
Oh,
I'm excited.
Yeah, actually,
I'm
probably more
excited.
for getting back to the stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does. I mean, once it's in your blood, it does take a while. Like I said, there's times where I miss it, but there's times where I'm like, I miss it, but I don't miss it. If that makes any sense.
I miss it.
I mean,
I miss
there's
it more than I thought I was going to miss it.
Yeah.
Like I told you that story earlier where I came and seen the guys at the Model
Yeah.
House,
Yeah.
and they sounded awesome, and packed house, all that stuff, and I'm like, fuck, I miss it, and I missed it even
Well,
more since. So
it's
I miss
taken
it.
me. It's taken me a while to learn how to become a spectator.
Yeah.
Bubba used to always tell me, "You're too critical. You're too critical. You think every band ought to be perfect." And I said, I hear stuff. I hear mistakes. I hear sour notes. And I've learned how to become more of a spectator, and I appreciate anybody who gets on stage.
Yeah.
From
Especially if they're up there putting in an effort.
exactly. Not every band is just a phenomenal band, but anybody that can get up on stage and basically, you wear your heart on your sleeve up there.
Yeah.
You're in front of people. Not everybody's going to love you. There's not a band in the world that everybody likes. Every band out there has somebody that doesn't like them. Center.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's people out there. I don't like center. But
sure there
it doesn't
is.
matter. Every band in the world has that. But anybody that can get up there and do it and just put yourself out there, I have all the respect in the world. And
Yeah.
it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah. For me, it's about the energy. I mean,
Exactly.
I've seen these bands, these like a three-piece
Hmm.
blues, fusion, progressive, whatever, prog, and they're like awesome. It's like they're so technical and
Hmm.
good and perfect. And I'm like, this is freaking boring.
I know.
It's so boring to
I
me.
know.
And then you see a punk band get up there and they're doing, power five chords and that's it.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
it sounds a bit like a mess and it's
Hmm.
not technical at all. And it's all energy. And it's like, this is awesome.
Yep. Yep. So what you put into it. And
Yeah.
we
I
are
don't mean,
lucky.
again, no judging, man. I can
No, I'm just
respect.
saying.
I'm with you. Anybody who has, who can get up there and do it and pull it off and entertain it, it's great. But for
Well,
me, it's about the energy.
I always get the question, well, who do you think is the best guitar players around here? I said, there's a lot of great guitar players around here, but they're all different. They're all different.
There are
You
good
know,
players around here, man, for sure.
everybody has their own thing, and they all play different. And I'm fortunate. I know a lot of guys. I get to see a lot of great guitar players. That's one good thing about what I do. I do get to see a lot of great musicians come through there.
Yep.
A good friend of mine who I've known for 40 plus years, Ronnie Zebron.
Yep. Yeah. Very
Ronnie's
good.
amazing. Just one of the most humble guys in the world, and he's just a phenomenal. I love watching Ronnie play because he's one of those guys. He just plays with heart.
And good performer too.
Phenomenal,
Yeah.
and just a great
Yep.
guy.
Yep.
And Gary Shutt.
Totally
Gary
agree.
Shutt is just an amazing. The guy is a freaking. He's a mad scientist on a guitar.
Yep.
And
And a
he's-
good performer.
Yeah, and some of the new
Great
bands.
performer.
Exactly.
Yeah. See, you
Some of
marry
the new
those two together, and it's
Yep.
wildly entertaining. I mean,
Well, we
it's
brought some
just
new
for me, it's just like, and the
I know.
third leg of the stool, at least for me, is tone.
Yep.
The guys who have the technical chops, that's one thing. The guys who have the showmanship, the stage presence, that's another thing. And then for me personally, just as a guitar player, it's tone.
Yep.
And if you marry those three together, it's just like, you
Well,
you rule.
yeah, a band
You're
like
awesome.
Sobriety
I
X.
love it.
Sobriety X. You put Wolf and Butch together,
Oh yeah.
and they sound phenomenal together because they complement each other so well.
I've always
And
liked Butch's tone.
Yeah, me too.
Straight Marshall
Yeah.
tone. It's just choice.
And then with Wolf coming in behind him, it's just like Wolf just compliments him. He found that perfect fit where he just fits right in there. And some of the new bands we've had come through there lately, I have booked a bunch of new bands. Some amazing musicians coming through.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's good, right? It's so good.
Great.
And I'll end with this, having kids that play, helping my son with his tone. I can't help him play because he's a much better player than I am. He understands the theory way, way better than I do. But, spending all that time in Fort Wayne and seeing Sweetwater help cultivate young people
Yeah.
to play music, especially rock music, it was very rewarding to see. The music nowadays, if you ask me, I think a lot of it kind of is not my cup of tea. I'm still
agree.
listening to 80s hair and 90s grunge and everything in between. I still listen to classic rock. I don't want to play it, but I still listen to a lot of it.
I enjoy playing classic rock. That's my niche.
Yeah, of course.
forte.
Of course. I played it for 15 straight years. I don't want to play it anymore, but great stuff in there. But my point is, there's a new batch of players coming up.
Oh.
And again, I see some of these technical players,
Oh,
they're
my
just
God.
crazy. And I'm like, boring. For me, it's boring.
I know.
I can't play like that. Number one, is it envy, jealousy? Probably, but I can't play like that. But I want to see mix that with punk. Now you got me. Now I'm in.
Part of the problem with social media is there's a lot of phenomenal guitar players on there, but they can't play in a band. They can't
It's
play
even
with
worse.
somebody,
The bedroom
you know?
players.
Yep. They're phenomenal.
Yeah.
Sweet picking and some of the stuff they do, and just
It's an art.
Yeah, but you stick them with a group of guys and they're lost.
Yeah.
That's
the best way to become a player.
and knowing how to
Just
play in a
throw
band and
yourself out
fit.
there.
Having your spot in the band, it's hard. It's
Yeah.
when I started playing, because I grew up a kid playing in the bedroom, learning. When I started playing a band, I said, "Wow, this is different." I've
Very
actually got to
different.
kind of know my shit now, and I
Yeah,
have to
dynamics.
find my niche. Yeah,
You got to figure out how your sound fits into the mix. You got to deal with people.
yeah. And I typically played in two guitarist bands, so we had to, you don't get up there and play the same thing all night. I mean, you got to play to complement each other, and just well, I learned a lot by doing that. So
Yeah, for sure.
it was enjoyable.
For sure. Well, the spirit of rock and roll is alive and well, my friend.
It
and will
is.
continue to, at least I hope, for my days here, because I love rock and roll.
And as I tell everybody, support live music, because without the support, it goes away.
Well, you guys do a great job. Dwayne, great job, man. Thanks for having me
Appreciate
on.
it.
I
Appreciate it. No,
appreciate
it's
it.
a great pleasure.
Anytime, anything I can do to help you, I'll pick up my check on the 14th when I see you.
Sounds good. Just don't drop it.
Yeah.
I don't want to see you bounce up and cut your head off.
I look forward to seeing you that day, buddy.
0.00.
Hey,
Well,
man,
yeah, you
how's
can always
Bubba
bring it
doing
up.
real quick before I let you go?
Bubba's improving. He actually goes in for another surgery towards the end of May.
Okay.
He has to go in. They're going to do a skin graft and so on and so forth. Yeah, I just talked to him a few days ago. And
Fuck.
he
Makes
was
me
hoping to
feel
get it
bad
done
for
earlier.
bitching about my knees.
Oh, wow, no. Oh, he went through a lot. But he was hoping they
Yeah.
were doing it earlier, but evidently the surgeon that does it is going to be incapacitated for the next 6 weeks. Yeah, I don't know if that means he's going to
Sounds
be on
like
the
a
golf course
vacation.
or, yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what I said. He's
Yeah.
probably playing golf for 6 weeks or on a cruise. But yeah, towards the, like 2/3 through May, they're going to do another surgery and do the skin graft. So hopefully
So it's going to
after
be a
that,
while
that's the
before we
last
see
one.
him again.
Unfortunately, it sounds that way.
A little bit.
So
Okay. Well, my
But
best,
he'll
Bubba.
be
I think
back
the
and
world of him. I think he's
hopefully
a
when he
cool
comes
kid.
back, he'll be 100%.
Good. I look
All right,
forward to
brother.
it.
Well, I appreciate your
brother.
time, my friend. It's always good to talk to you.
Yeah,
And, you
man.
know,
My
you-
pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Dwayne.
Well, you can come in the bottle house one week and just hang out with me and shoot the shit.
Yeah, I probably will.
I owe you a beer.
Who's playing Saturday and Sunday?
Saturday, nobody Sunday. Saturday, nobody's fool is playing. Now they are kind of, I don't want to say classic
Yeah.
rock. They're mix everything.
No, I've
That
seen
guy,
'em.
yeah.
Yeah, I've seen
I
him.
mean, he goes into his Ted Nugent mode, and
Yeah,
he brings
yeah.
up the Birdland, and
Yeah, they're good
he goes into
players.
that. And just great guy,
Yeah.
phenomenal guys in the band. And then Friday night we have Evil Bill and the Struggle Bus.
Oh,
If
that's
people
right.
haven't
I've seen them too. Yeah, they're
Oh
all
man,
good.
Dan
That's a good
Pepin
lineup.
is just Dan Pepin is an amazing guitar player.
Yeah, yeah.
He's one of those technician guys. That just
Yeah, yeah.
he's a blazing
Cool,
guitar
cool
player.
band names too. I
Yeah,
like both
I
those
know.
band names.
I said it's a great band with a weird name.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, he's just amazing. I mean, all the guys in that band are just amazing. Bill, the bass player, they're great guys. I actually enjoy having them there.
Well, there are a couple bands I want to see. So,
So
yes,
here's your
indeed.
replacement had to pop in there. Your Phil.
Yeah, man.
And again, Matt is a great guy, great guitar player.
And his
just a good
wife,
guy.
they're,
Mhm.
yeah, man. Yeah,
Just good
yeah,
people.
yeah. Yes, very, very, very good people. And I thank you again, Matt. I appreciate it. Talk about a musician with a good attitude, right?
Exactly.
Very important. He's
Exactly.
like the poster child of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just good people.
Yep.
Good people.
All right, dude.
On that note, my friend, I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Feel
brother.
well. Hope everything goes well with the healing. You're on the right track now. Like I said, you'll be duck walking on stage here in a couple more weeks.
We're good to go. We're good to go.
Back.
I'll
Now
see
a
you
few
soon.
shots to take care of it. All right, brother.
Yeah.
On that note, I'm going to pop you out of here, say a few words. We're going to end this thing.
See you, Dwayne. See you
All
soon,
right,
buddy.
brother. See you soon.
Bye.
Well, there you have it. Todd, great guy. Again, consider him a friend. Just a good person, great family man. He's got a phenomenal family. Again, his kids are just, they're doing amazing. His kids are just great kids. That being said, so again, this weekend, we just talked about it, but Friday night we have Evil Bill and the Struggle Bus. Again, yeah, God, you got to see these guys play. I mean, Dan Pepin is just like, he's, I don't even know how to explain him. He's just a madman on guitar. And Bill, I mean, they're a phenomenal band. Come see them. And then Saturday night, we have the return of Nobody's Fool. The last time they were there, everybody said, well, who are these guys? It had been about a year since they played, a little over a year since they played there. And they're back this year, hitting the Bottle House. And again, great guys. Dan will kind of morph into Ted Nugent there for a little bit. Break out the Birdland, which is a guitar, by the way, the one Ted Nugent plays. They'll break that out. They're a fun party band. You're going to have a good time. Again, if you saw the live thing from the Bottle House last weekend, we had some niches, some glitches, and I actually ordered some new equipment. I think it's going to go pretty well. I will schedule another live shot from the Bottle House probably within the next couple of weeks now that I got everything I need to do it and do it right. On that note, guys, we appreciate it. Get your ass out to the Bottle House this weekend. And remember, as always, come early and stay late. Look forward to seeing you guys then. Adios.